Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey, Jason, Dylan, Mel, John, Pauline. Guys, week into August now. Things are shaping up. We're kind of getting an idea of who's going to be in the playoff race, who's not. Some teams that are pretenders, some teams that are contenders. We're going to get into a couple of impending free agents for each team. Should they stay? Should they go? Because a lot of these teams that are now down the stretch could be losing some key pieces for next year's race, and we'll see how they perform down the stretch. But first, did you guys see the guy for the A's, the prospect, Carlos Cortez? He's an outfielder. He's a natural lefty, and his dad at 8 years old made him learn how to throw right-handed just to give him a little bit more viability. Let him learn a little other positions. He ended up having to come into a game and replace Brent Rooker in right field. And then the A's, obviously, they're losing. They're the A's. That's what they do. And all of a sudden, they came back. Lawrence Butler pinch ran for Gio Urshela, the third baseman. Butler, an outfielder. All of a sudden, nobody left on the bench or on the field knows how to play infield other than Carlos Cortez. He doesn't even have a right-handed glove with him. So he had to borrow somebody else's glove and play third base. He switched hands from a lefty outfielder to a righty infielder. It's pretty sick for somebody that's going to, he wasn't a big prospect. They brought him up. He's an older guy, mid to late 20s. Wasn't really much of anything. They brought him up because they're the A's. They can. And he made one of the best stories, I think, all year.
Yeah, I think that is one of the more versatile players we've talked about in the history of the show. I mean, obviously not talent-wise, but in terms of versatility, that's got to be right up there with Ohtani. Playing both sides of the field, this guy plays all over the field and uses different arms for different positions.
Can you guys remember the last ambidextrous player we had in the majors?
I feel like it was a pitcher. There was a pitcher. It was a pitcher.
A pitcher who pitched for the A's. At Vendette.
The A stands for ambidextrous.
So I remember he had a special glove
Yes.
that he would switch. Like he could
To be
move the
fair,
glove.
Vendette came up through the Yankee system first and just never broke through.
Yeah.
But he did play for the A's. In other news, we had the first female ump take the field on Saturday and call her first game behind the plate on Sunday, Jen Powell.
I think it's important we acknowledge just as good as the rest of the umps.
Or good the right word we want to use?
Well, she's on par with the rest of the umps.
On the same playing field
She's
as the
on
rest
par.
of the umps.
Yep.
He is no different than any other ump that's sitting back there. And that first pitch, that's got to be jitters, right?
I would think so.
She was just taking the first one.
She wanted that first one to be a strike, and honestly, I can't blame her. I probably would have done the same thing. I just want that first strike call out of the way.
Yeah, was so excited to show off the strike call in the MLB.
Just got a little excited.
I mean, all the players and the managers said that they didn't have any issues with her zone.
I can't wait to watch Aaron Boone's first screaming match with her.
It's going to be incredible. He has to be the first one ejected, right? He hasn't really gotten tossed much this year.
No. Well, a lot of what's gone wrong is his fault this year.
Yeah, it's true. I can't wait for her to toss him out. He's got to be the first one. But outside that first strike call, I didn't really hear much else about how poorly she did. So she must not have done that bad.
Do we have like the umpire scorecard?
I didn't. I tried to look for it. I didn't see it. But no news is good news. It's like an offensive lineman. If you don't know their name, they must be doing something right. So good on her. And again, I'm really curious to see how she handles her first ejection, first arguments with players. Hopefully nobody treats her any different. And they tell her when she makes a bad call or when a fan yells and she'll eject Aaron Boone anyway. Good old Hunter Wendell stat. We also had Jose Altuve hit his 250th career home run. Just another milestone in what is an asterisk Hall of Fame career. I'm an Astros Hall of Fame career. But he did it against the Yankees, which is a surprise to no one. Just of course he did, right?
Yeah, you see Correa hit that celebration.
Cal Raleigh's now at 45 home runs, 3 away from Salvador Perez's record for catchers.
Will he get there?
Running away with the American League home run title. Aaron Judge needs to heat it up if he wants any chance of catching him, and time is running out. Luckily for Judge, he has the ability and has shown it in the past that he can hit this many home runs that he needs. I believe he's 8 back now. So he's been able to do that. Obviously, it's not impossible, but he needs Raleigh to slow down if he wants any chance of catching him. Yeah. But Raleigh, might have this MVP race wrapped up, because if he breaks the record, I don't know if there's much Judge can do to take it away. Raleigh really has been the most valuable player.
Yeah, if that happens and Judge obviously doesn't pass him or catch him, you could make the same argument for Cal Raleigh that we made for Aaron Judge a couple of years ago when he broke the AL home run record, but he was going up against a prime Shohei Ohtani for MVP. And the general consensus there was Aaron Judge is having a record-breaking season. If not now, then why bother having an MVP award race versus Ohtani? If not now for a catcher like Cal Raleigh, you could argue, what's the point of having catchers involved?
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And, this kind of makes me want to start a little game with you guys, because you have guys like Cal Raleigh carrying the Mariners to the playoffs, some other playoff teams being carried by guys that they either got at the deadline, 1-year deals. The Mariners obviously traded for Eugenio Suarez, who has done nothing.
Hey, he's hit a home run.
He has hit a home run.
Against the White Sox.
So he has not hit a home run that counts. But I got one player from each team. I want to play a little stay or go, because some of these names are very big contributors to playoff teams, to real contenders, and others are kind of surprising. And these are each team's biggest free agent at the end of the year. The best player they have that is available for every other team. So I want to start it off with the Toronto Blue Jays, because Bo Bichette, who's going to be 28 years old next year, is going to be a free agent. Does he stay or go?
Is this, do we think they do, or do we think they should?
Either one, however you want to take it.
I would say Bichette should and will stay. Toronto's had probably their most successful season, maybe in the Vladdy Bichette era, in terms of regular season success so far. They're leading a very competitive AL East. Obviously, I'm sure it'll be judged more on what happens in September and potentially October than what's happened all the way up until now. But ultimately, we know that Toronto has been a bit of a stalking horse for some big-time free agents, and I mention this kind of every time we talk about them. A guy in Bichette who's already used to playing there and living there, you should do what you can to keep that guy there and develop this core around him in Vladdy.
I agree. The Blue Jays, what are they going to do? Because they already have a hard time attracting free agents to come to Toronto, and you already have a guy there, so it only makes sense to open up your pocketbook and make sure he stays. So,
yeah, Bichette should stay. I would have had a different thought before the season. I would have thought Bichette would have been gone. But I think this run, one, gets Bichette paid, and two, makes Toronto foolishly think that they have a window, which they don't. After this, I got Baltimore. Now they traded away some people. Zach Eflin, who will be 32 years old, will be their top free agent.
See you later.
Yeah.
It's John's Orioles. I'll let him give his speech.
One could argue, they really need pitching, because that's where they were struggling. Because that was their big thing this year. They didn't get pitching. They let Corbin Burns go, and they didn't get anyone to replace him. So I mean, you can argue, maybe you should keep Eflin, but I mean, try to keep him and stuff, or maybe they just try and go out and get like a bigger name. So
Or maybe they let him go and just never
and
acknowledge
just
the
maybe just let him
position.
go and just say we're done. I mean,
Yeah.
fired the manager.
If I had to make a bold
I don't know.
prediction, Baltimore signs one of the 3 Milwaukee pitchers that'll be free agents at the end of the year. Just one of them.
If I had to make a bold prediction, their pitching staff is just as bad next year as it was this year.
Yeah. I
They're
think
going to be in the
that's not very
playoffs next
bold.
year.
I
You
think
just
that's
wait. They're going to be in the playoffs. You just wait.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
all right. Next up is Tampa Bay. Their best free agent will be Adrian Hauser, the right-handed pitcher. Going to be 33 years old next season.
I mean, has Tampa ever retained a free agent? I'm not sure. But seriously, I don't see them keeping him. 33 years old, not exactly a star. Probably not a point for Tampa to spend what is limited resources on him.
I saw an interesting stat today having to deal with Tampa and their pitching. Wander Franco has played more recently than Shane McClanahan for the Tampa Bay Rays. How is it that Shane McClanahan, who at one point was going to be a Cy Young favorite, at least a top 3 favorite in that convo, he hasn't pitched in over 2 years, and he's now again out for the season? Just a horrible stroke of luck. He hasn't pitched since early August of 2023.
Will forever be a massive what if.
Is he ever going to pitch again, though?
I mean,
Even if he does,
like-
I mean, I don't mean to be that guy, but I doubt he gets to the level he was.
It's going to be so difficult for him. And it's a shame because they had something really good in McClanahan. And just injuries just kill.
Yep.
Next up is going to be Boston. The Red Sox have Alex Bregman, who will be 32 years old. Now, they did sign him to a 3-year deal, but he has an opt-out after each of the first 2 seasons. And after having, what is pretty much a career year in Boston, he's definitely going to opt out.
I would suggest stay. The Fenway Group usually is willing to pay the better players. They have a lot of young talent in Boston. They're off of the Devers contract, so giving a large chunk of that money to Bregman, who's produced for them, certainly will matter. They look like a playoff team. Bregman, a playoff veteran. I don't expect him to slow down in the postseason. And, they have one of those lineups that, while I don't think their roster is top tier 1 World Series caliber, they can get hot enough that they could win them.
Does he get north of 150 total?
How old is he now?
He next year will be his age 32 season.
I would say 150 is about right. What do you want to give him? Probably
6 for 180 is what I think he's going to be asking for.
Okay. See, I was thinking more. If I was Boston, I'd want 6 years, but a higher AAV. But at the end of the day, we probably get around that 150 to 180 mark.
I think that sounds about right because I feel like contracts now are inflated a little bit anyway because of like the Soto contracts and the Ohtani contracts.
Guess we'll see how that pans out for the Mets, though. I mean,
yeah.
If that doesn't age well, why would other teams follow suit?
Ben's not here to defend it, but I have not seen a single positive thing said about Soto, and it feels like months.
I haven't heard anything really about him at all, actually. Like not even negative nor positive.
I saw you hit a home run 9 minutes after Frank the Tank tweeted that one Soto looked disinterested. That was the most recent Soto that I've seen.
What I'm getting from a lot of Met fan friends is that in big moments, Soto's not even walking, which I know a lot of Yankee fans complained about last year, where in the big moment, he wouldn't look to get a hit. He'd look to just get on base with a walk. He's not even doing that. He's striking out a lot.
It's because he knew who he had behind him.
That's true, too. But I had one friend who was furious that Soto hit the home run against Cleveland to break up the no-hitter. Because if you're going to get no hit, at least let the fans root for that. Don't lose 5-1 with one home run, with 2 outs in the ninth. Again, that's not me saying it. That is Met fans saying it, which I thought was pretty funny. But let's finish up the AL East with Luke Weaver, who will be 32 years old, should not command a big contract, and would probably take a home down discount if I would have to take a guess.
Well, I'm going to say Weaver should stay, but I'm also going to say you picked the wrong free agent. I would think after the moves that the Yankees made in the pen, Cody Bellinger would be their big time free agent.
Yeah, but I don't want to put any of that negative energy out there.
I mean, I think they both stay.
I think Bellinger has to stay. I think kind of like how LeMahieu forced the Yankees to pay him, Bellinger is forcing the Yankees to pay him.
Would you say that, obviously I'm not suggesting he's the best player, but would you say Cody Bellinger has been the team MVP this season?
Yeah. No, actually. I'd put him second.
To
Trent Grisham, only because Trent Grisham has hit clutch hit and home run after clutch hit and home run to the point where I think that as great as Bellinger's done, Grisham has single-handedly won, it feels like, a dozen games.
Yeah, him and Bellinger have been really special this year. Like I mentioned with Boston, I would not put the Yankees in a Tier 1 World Series contender conversation, but the lineup at its peak, if you could get that for 2-3 weeks, similar to what we saw with the Mets last year, it's possible.
Now, Bellinger's resurgence is really bad for Kyle Tucker because it will take the Yankees off the playing board, and I think Tucker's salary will suffer having the Yankees not really be interested in him.
Do you think officially that will be, I mean, obviously I'm not going to derail the conversation completely, but we heard Dominguez's name mentioned at the deadline. Maybe the Yankees just say, we'll take Tucker, Bellinger, and move Dominguez. It's some food for thought.
I just don't think that they'll give
I doubt it.
Bellinger $200 million and Tucker $500 million.
Yeah, I have my doubts.
But now moving on to the AL Central, we have Cleveland Guardians, and I'm picking Carlos Santana, the 40-year-old first baseman.
I mean, gone. I don't know if it's to retirement or to a new team, but the Guardians, I don't know if I guess I can't speak for him. Maybe he loves Cleveland, but if I'm 40, I'm playing for a contending team.
Yeah, but I don't know, he's picked the Nationals. He's picked, the Royals in the past. I think he wants to play, and I don't think he minds being that veteran on a team. So a team that needs a first baseman that, can bring a veteran presence. He likes to bounce between a couple teams he's been on.
Well, then I would still say go.
Right.
The odds are still in favor of go for the purposes of this.
Let Manzardo take over first base, completely without Santana.
If I was the Guardians, I don't think I would pay.
Right. Leave the DH spot open.
Yeah.
Now, for the Royals, I have Mike Yastrzemski, who I knew was older. I didn't realize next year was his age 35 season.
I could see the Royals keeping him. It feels like a cheap option. They don't really spend a ton as an organization. They feel like they want to focus more on pitching, contact, and Yastrzemski has some pop, lefty hitter. Feels like a guy that they would keep.
See, I think he goes only because I don't think he gets another contract after this. I think this will pretty much be where he picks his final team. And he's going to go to the Red Sox to play for his grandfather's team. They can use another outfielder. He's not going to be an everyday guy no matter where he goes at his age. So I think getting his veteran presence, lefty bat in Fenway with the name value, I think that's going to mean a lot more to him than anywhere else.
That's possible. And if things hold from this season, they'll be a better team.
Yeah. Now we go to Detroit, and Gleyber Torres, who's going to be 29 next year, signed a 1-year deal there. He's going to be a free agent, and I don't know how they can let him go.
Yeah, that's got to be a stay. All-star season for them.
And I think that's a great deal for both sides. I'm happy for Gleyber.
I don't think it'll be too expensive either.
No. But he has fallen off a little bit since the All-Star break. Detroit as a whole has kind of faltered.
He had some really good at-bats in the playoffs last year for the Yankees, and Detroit's going to be a playoff team. So as long as he kind of just is who he is, an average of who he is, I think they give him a deal.
Next up is the Minnesota Twins. They do have major league players on their roster. Christian Vasquez, the catcher, will be 35 next year. I have no idea why they would bring him back. It just doesn't make sense.
They're going super young.
Yeah.
You know, 1 year it was the A's, who we talked about as the worst team in the league. Then it was the White Sox, then the Rockies. Next year it's going to be the Twins.
Yeah, I think that they sell even more. I think that deals that they couldn't find for a Joe Ryan get made this offseason.
You think they got Buxton to get rid of his no trade clause?
They beg him to let him go.
And then he says, okay, but only if you trade me to the Dodgers. So then they have to trade him to the Dodgers.
And then after that, we got the White Sox. Their best player who's going to hit free agency is going to be Aaron Savali, 31-year-old pitcher. I honestly think they'll probably
keep. Yeah.
Why not?
They just feel so unbelievably mid, and he fits that.
Exactly. They need arms. AL West, we have Kenley Jansen from the Angels, 38 years old. I think they probably keep him. I don't know who else is going to want him.
Does he want to move before retirement? Probably not. I could see him retiring. I don't know. I mean, a stay or go away.
He started his career, obviously, with the Dodgers, ending it with the Angels in LA. Just makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's either like keep him or retire. Like, I don't see him wanting to go anywhere else.
Now, the next big one is going to be Framber Valdez. He'll be 32 next year, lefty from Houston. Houston has a lot of young pitching where it makes sense to move off of Framber just because they have so many arms that could replace him. But I don't think they should.
I think stay, and I think somehow the Astros get him on some really cheap deal that frustrates everybody else that watched it happen.
If he did go, though, he would be a prize in free agency next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we have the A's. Their best player is going to be Luis Urias, the infielder, 29 years old. Stay, go. I don't know if it matters.
I would say go. I don't see them until they get to Vegas really making a lot of moves.
Then we have the Seattle Mariners, 34-year-old Eugenio Suarez. I think he's gone, and I do think he goes back to the Diamondbacks.
That'd be hilarious.
I can see it.
I think he stays. I think the Mariners actually have a pretty decent playoff run potential in them. And, we'll talk about it as we get closer, but they are a team that is on my potential World Series representative from the AL side of things.
Final American League team is going to be the Texas Rangers. 37-year-old Merrill Kelly. Another one who I was surprised to find that this was really his first real free agency. 30-year-old rookie with the Diamondbacks.
I think that's a go and go back to the Diamondbacks.
Actually, I think he might end up being a Met. Veteran arm. They're going to try to get rid of Montas and some of these other guys. I think
they're going to sign Merrill Kelly and then end up trading them halfway through the season.
That would be really, really funny.
I can see it happening.
I mean, we see it now how the Mets are struggling with pitching depth Now they have Jonah Tong and Brandon Sproat. They're coming up eventually.
I'll
But
say a mix of everything. Goes back to the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks again trade him at the deadline, this time to the Mets.
buy it. Now, National League, we got the Atlanta Braves and the 35-year-old DH, Marcelo Zuna from the Braves. Where does he go? Because I don't think he'll leave. I don't know if anybody actually wants him. He's kind of just entrenched himself there.
Oh, this is Mets.
Yeah.
All over it. I mean, they were interested in him at the deadline. They do have a need at the DH position. Unless they're going to do the Beatty Vientos thing, which I guess they could. But they were interested in Ozuna, and I think that there's going to be some pressure on the organization that if things don't completely turn around this year, the first year of the Juan Soto deal being a failure, and they need to make some splash moves in free agency to up this team, and what better than Marcelo Ozuna?
After Ozuna, we do have Cal Quantrill from Miami. He'll be 31.
Go to the Yankees. I believe in Cal Quantrill.
I believed in Cal Quantrill 4 years ago. Not anymore.
I still believe he had an immaculate inning this year.
Future Cy Young winner.
I think he
With
goes
the
to the
Yankees.
Yankees and hops in the bullpen as a long reliever.
Now for the Mets, we do have Pete Alonso, 31 years old.
I think he goes. Honestly, if I'm him, I'm going. I feel
Where?
like I'd be. I feel like anywhere. Honestly, I feel like if the Phillies don't sign Schwarber
Anywhere.
again, I can see the Phillies going after Alonso.
Uh,
Potentially moving Harper back into the field.
I don't buy that scenario.
No,
I could
I
buy
can see it.
Alonso leaving.
I think he leaves though.
Man, Seattle would be
I
nice.
took the words right out of my mouth. Seattle makes a lot of sense. I mean,
I think he stays though.
Boston's had a lot of first base issues.
For the record, I do think he stays. I think he's a Met for life.
He should be, but he should have gotten paid last year too. And it was in my opinion, a really bad look on Steve Cohen, not just giving Alonso that huge deal. You go out and pay a guy that has no association with your team $800 million, and then you nickel and dime the heart and soul of your franchise, the guy that should be named captain of the Mets, Pete Alonso.
Hey, I mean, if he feels the way you felt, he's out of there.
I mean
that's what I think.
He is what drives the Mets. Everything good about the Mets has come from Alonso, not Lindor, not Soto. Alonso is what is driving the Mets in the positive direction.
I wish Ben was here for this.
That would be great.
I've gotten into so many arguments because he's so blinded by Lindor that he's failing to realize what he has right in front of him.
This is Lindor's first actual, I think, really, really good season, like with the Mets. This is his first time. I mean, he was good before, but
hasn't been a great
this is
week.
his first year that he's actually been I think the player that they thought he was going to be. So I don't know how you can say. And Alonso's been good for
first All-Star appearance for Lindor as a Met. I'm not saying Lindor is bad. I'm just saying that Alonso is the Mets.
Well, and it's translated into a lot of wins.
I just think that they're going to have to pay him, and they should. And it's surprising and, really mind-boggling that they just didn't do it last year.
Yeah.
I told you they were going to go with Vientos. That was their plan. I tell you all the time. That was their plan. They were going to say bye-bye to Alonso and be like, we're rocking with Vientos and Soto and Lindor.
Next up, though, will be the Phillies, and they got DH Kyle Schwarber, 33 years old. John, take it away.
I really, really, really want them to sign him again. I think
they're going to. He's way too damn good. The city loves him too much, and Philly's pretty good about paying their good players.
They do, and they're gonna have a lot of room because I don't think they're gonna sign Boehm again.
I mean, he's just the best player on the team.
Yeah, he's the best player. I mean, he's at 42 home runs right now.
I thought he.
So
I thought
I
he was
think
past that at this
I
point.
think he's 42 last I checked. He might be up, but last
Yep,
I
it
checked he was
says 42, 97 RBIs,
So, and he's very well probably going to hit over 50 home runs this year.
3.9 WAR,
So,
959 OPS,
I mean, you have to sign him.
and I'm sure he'll have some big playoff homers too.
So, but yeah, if they're going to sign anyone, they need to sign him.
They should. It just makes sense. Next up, though, the Marlins. The Nationals. Same difference. DH Josh Bell, 33 years old.
I
I
think
don't-
he stays.
They yeah.
Just why though? I feel like they should be getting younger, not older, and guys that really
They
can't
like the
perform.
veteran presence of Bell.
Then get the veteran presence of Carlos Santana. I think he provides more value, and he already played for them too.
Just a little swap, Bell to the guards and Santana to that.
I just think that they should leave that DH spot open, and I don't think they need a platoon bat there.
Yeah, it's
But
fair.
who knows? Maybe Bell goes back to like the Marlins or something. They just decide to get a bat in the lineup. That'd be a pretty A's signing too. This guy could rake.
It doesn't seem like he'll be playing meaningful baseball based on what we talked about.
No. Now NL Central, Milwaukee Brewers. I could have went Freddie Peralta. Instead, I'm going Brandon Woodruff. He's 33 years old. He was the ace. He was the guy before Corbin Burns really established himself. Had some injuries. He's still a very good pitcher. I think this is the guy that the Orioles target, and I think the Brewers let him go.
I think he stays. I think the Brewers are going to try their hardest to keep this core together with the success that they're having right now.
I think they're gonna. Yeah, same what Dylan said. Like they are having like a fantastic year. I think way better than any of us thought they were gonna do.
Do we
So
buy the Brewers as legit contenders, legit tier 1 contenders?
Sell.
I just can't see them sustaining this.
Are we getting 2016 Atlanta Hawks vibes here?
I'm getting 2017 Cleveland Guardians vibes.
I'm not saying I'd root against it. I just have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers or Phillies in a 7-game set.
Or the Padres.
Yeah. I mean, we'll
Mostly
see
the
who they have to
Padres
face, but my assumption is if they make an NLCS, it'll be LA.
I think I buy the Cubs over the Brewers still.
Yeah, I think it's close, but I don't disagree.
And then speaking of the Cubs, we do have Kyle Tucker. He'll be 29 next year.
I think stay.
They're gonna try their best to keep him. They're gonna pay him.
I mean, have we seen the Cubs really pay this type of money for anybody before?
I don't know.
Jake Arrieta maybe was like the last time we really saw them open it up.
When's the last time they've had a Kyle Tucker talent? Chris Bryant in his prime?
Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez. They were all looked at like a Kyle Tucker when they hit free agency.
I mean, I think that they keep him. But the emergence of PCA in that outfield, Seiya Suzuki, you could say we'd be better off putting assets elsewhere. Trading all that for Tucker and then losing him for nothing, it feels like that wouldn't be a choice that you'd actively make.
I think they should look at it like they have a quarterback on a rookie deal. And by the time they need to pay PCA, you'll already have a few years under on Tucker as it is. And those contracts just keep going up and up anyway.
Yeah, I would keep Tucker. And I think that Tucker would want to stay.
And we'll talk more, in the coming weeks and especially in the offseason about where we think Tucker will go if he isn't a Cub. But I do think the Cubs should try their hardest to keep him. Now, for the next one will be the St. Louis Cardinals, Miles Mikolas, 37 years old. I think he'll be out of baseball.
Yeah, I think maybe you get a 1-year deal somewhere that needs pitching. But we're at the end of the career.
I can see him even getting like picked up, like maybe not immediately, but like later on, like
Yeah,
halfway through the season.
spring
Yeah,
training injury.
or
Somebody needs an
something.
arm.
PPR, Nippon League.
Yeah,
Somebody
you just
needs
need to
an
fill a
inning
spot.
eater.
I will put right now that I don't think Miles Michaelis throws an MLB pitch after this season.
I don't know, man. The Giants like old pitchers.
They
He
do.
could go out there with Justin Verlander and Robbie Ray.
I know a lot of teams like using like the old pitchers kind of like as a stopgap because they don't have anybody
When Rich
else
Hill
really.
exists, I think that's going to be the guy. If we're going to talk old pitchers. Pittsburgh Pirates, though, Isaiah Kiner Falefa, he'll be 31 years old.
They don't pay people. Go.
He'll go, but I don't know where I really think he'll go.
Man, who could use a utility infielder? Who could use a guy that really could play third base? Good defender. It's a
If only the
mystery.
Yankees didn't have Caballero. They would
Yeah.
have brought back.
No, I don't think they would have. I could see him going to a contending team.
Dodgers.
I could see that.
Just you can say Dodgers for like every player, honestly.
I
They
think
just scoop everybody up.
I could see Phillies.
I can see that too,
Yeah.
especially because I don't think the Phillies are gonna re-sign Bohm. I think he's gone.
I could see
After
him and
this
Sosa
season.
just being cheap options playing the infield.
I could also see them Phillies potentially going after Eugenio Suarez too, but it's probably more realistic that
Depends
Isaiah
how the
Connor Falefa.
playoffs go.
Yeah, well, it depends how much they have to pay Schwarber, and if they're
Yeah.
gonna keep Ranger Suarez too, then they got to get a deal done with JT.
Yeah, I think
So
I think Kyle Schwarber is going to want a Schwarbomb on the contract.
So I'm thinking like I honestly think he might get like 250 for like at least like 6-7 years almost. I can see it.
All right.
I think
John's,
he's just gonna ask that much money. I think
Corey said he'd let Schwarber walk.
I would let Schwarber walk for
not
that.
for that much. Yeah, I think that's probably what he's looking for, but I don't know.
Next up, though, Cincinnati Reds pitcher Zach Littell, 30 years old. I think he should stay.
Yeah, I think that the Reds kind of showed their hand at the deadline that they're looking to compete in the near future, and any good players they should try and retain.
After Littell, we have Arizona, Zach Gallen, 30 years old. I think he's going to stay. I think they want to compete next year.
Yeah, me too.
They didn't trade him at the deadline, and I think that shows they want to keep him.
He's been there for a while too.
Next up, Dodgers, Michael Kopech.
Probably gone.
Really was able to put it together.
Back to the White Sox you go.
I think he stays with the Dodgers on a 1-year show-me deal.
Nah.
If
I
not,
don't think he could crack the rotation. I think he wants to get somewhere he could play.
I think he's just going to be resigned to the bullpen no matter where he goes.
I don't know. Again, I think he's one of those guys where if he waits, spring training and injury will come, a team will want him to eat some innings and then put him in the bullpen.
He's somebody who I would love the Yankees to try to get for a year. Maybe
He's
do
got such gas.
Give him a 1 year with a team option for the second year.
He's just got such gas, Kopech.
Then we have the Giants with Justin Verlander. He'll be 43. Has said he wants to pitch till at least 45. I mean, what teams allow him to stay along this long?
I mean, again, there'll be a team that's got an injury, and it'll be, can you come eat innings? I wonder if Garrett Cole tries to persuade the Yankees. Bring my buddy in. Come on.
I mean, what would be the weirdest team to see Verlander on? Would it be like the Marlins?
The Reds.
The Reds?
I mean, why would the Marlins pay? Like, I'm thinking of a team that maybe is competing that it would just be weird to see him in their uniform.
Just throw him a contract because it'll fill seats.
Huh. I still think him in a Reds uniform is an interesting sight.
As long as we can agree that once the A's are in Vegas, he will be their opening day starter.
That'd be
I can see it.
something.
After that, we got Michael King from the Padres, 31 years old.
Go.
Padres are not paying people at the moment.
I know I know a team that could use Michael King.
Now, if I told you had to choose between Michael King or Tarek Skubal, what are you picking?
Oh boy. That's a toughie.
Because if the team you're thinking of decides to pay King, they're going to take themselves out of the Skubal lottery for the following season.
I do think King goes, and I think he might get the biggest contract of anybody on the market. Whether
Any
that's
pitcher on the market.
I mean, what position player did we say that
All right,
we think
Tucker.
gets? Yeah, Tucker. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking Schwarber in my head, and I was like, I think he could beat out Schwarber.
I don't know if he'll beat. I mean, he should beat out Bregman, who I think would get the second biggest.
Yeah.
AAV, I think he'll get the second biggest.
I just think there's going to be a lot of teams in on him.
Yeah. And then the last name to bring up with the Rockies, German Marquez, 31 years old.
Why not stay?
I think that's probably going to happen.
Colorado's a nice place to live.
It's actually nice out there.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about our teams. Ben's not here. Let's quickly go through the Mets. There's not much to talk about anyway. 0-5 since our last show. 0-2 versus Cleveland. Swept by the Brewers 0-3. They're 1-9 in their last 10. 63-55 overall. 5.5 games back of Philly. They're 1.5 up on Cincinnati for the third wild card. 3 games back of wild card 2. 4.5 of wild card 1. Mets are struggling. And the only reason they're not a bigger national story is because they're not the biggest team in their city.
Yeah. It's been a slump. They're still primed to be a playoff team, and I hesitate to write them off just because of what they did last year and the fact that on paper their lineup is better.
Is there a difference between the Mets and the Yankees right now? Or are they literally in the same boat?
I think there's a difference. I think at the top end of the rotation, the Yankees have higher level talent than the Mets do. I think at their best, Fried and Rodon are better than any pitchers that the Mets throw out there. And I do think the lineup's a little bit more complete. But
by that I meant, like, are the Mets and Yankees both teams that are wild card 3 right now? Are they teams that you think will probably still just make the playoffs? They can get dangerous.
The Yankees do have a pretty easy end of season schedule, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them bump up to wild card 2 or 1. And I don't think the division's completely dead yet. I wouldn't put it past Toronto to have a collapse just because of what I've seen from Toronto in the past few years.
Past Philly either?
No, I think Philly's good. I think with Duran, they're just not gonna now they can close the door on games.
I mean, they're gonna have Duran,
Alvarado
Alvarado coming back. Nola's
they are still
back.
the Phillies, but I mean, by that logic, the Mets are still the Mets.
That's true too. We'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, we can get Ben on next week to talk more about the Mets. The Mets have been the worst team in baseball, I believe, since June 13th, and that includes a 7-game win streak.
Yeah. Again, if I hadn't seen what I saw last year, I'd probably be here to tell you, yeah, they're cooked. But
43 games left in the season.
Yeah, just based on what I saw last year from that team, you just know that they can get hot for a couple weeks, and that's all it takes.
I mean, that was Grimace. They don't have Grimace this year.
They tried to pop Sanchez.
They don't have Grimace, but I mean, John, you know as well as anybody after last year.
I mean, all it takes is just a little bit. You get hot at the right moment, and you
run into a team that gets cold.
Yeah, and you can just beat anyone.
Let's talk some Phillies. 4-1 since last week. They went 1-1 versus Baltimore since we last spoke. Swept the Rangers 3 games to zip. 7-3 in their last 10. 68 and 49 overall, 5.5 up on the Mets, like I just said. They are the number 2 seed, and they are 5 games back of the Brewers for that top spot. John, we feel like we're just cruising.
I think they're just cruising. I'm happy. I mean, it helps a ton now that they have Duran there. I mean, like that is just such a huge like load off, like, I think Phillies fans' shoulders and Philly in general, that they have a guy that they can go to in high leverage situations or just to come in and close out a game, and they don't have to worry about it. Like, he's going to go in and get the job done, and that helps a ton. And you're going to have Alvarado coming back, even though he won't be available for the playoffs. He's going to be coming back soon, and you can have him as a setup guy. Yeah, I think, Nola's doing rehab starts and should be coming back soon. I mean,
Yeah, he could eat some innings.
so I mean, and then Boehm, I think, is on his way back too. So I mean, they're getting everyone back. I mean, they're looking good. I mean, everyone's hitting again. I mean, Schwarber is just on a complete and absolute tear right now. Like, he is just. I mean, I feel like he hits a home run like every other game.
Yeah,
It's,
they are my current favorite to come out of the NL.
the only problem is, though, Wheeler's velocity has been down, and they did do imaging on his shoulder, I think, like last week or something. Came back negative, but they did skip his like last start.
Here,
And he pitched today, and they took him out, I think, at like 80 or something pitches, or like 90 something like pitches or whatever, in like the fifth inning or something. He still has 7 strikeouts, but velocity's down, so that's kind of concerning.
yeah, the reason I'm still really high on them is in terms of all the key spots that I look at, they are either at the top or tied for the top in the NL. When it comes to just overall lineup, I think they're right there with the Dodgers. When it comes to starting pitching, I think they're the best in terms of a playoff series with Wheeler, Luzardo, Sanchez, and Suarez. They have the best closer in the NL. And you could argue Mason Miller, I suppose, but I would take Duran over him for this particular season. And you talk about guys that can get the ball out of the ballpark and change a game. Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Castellanos to an extent. So I think Philly has all the makings of a World Series team.
Now let's talk a little Yankees. 2-3 since the last show. 1-1 versus Texas. 1-2 versus Houston. They are 3-7 in their last 10, 62 and 56 overall. 6.5 back of Toronto, 2.5 back of Boston for wild card 2, 3.5 back of Seattle for wild card 1. We are a half game up on Cleveland, though, for wild card 3, and that's not counting today's game where they beat the Twins. Again, just what the doctor ordered, playing the Twins. The Yankees have won about 75% of their games since 2001 versus Minnesota. So if there was ever a get-right series, this needs to be it.
Yeah, I agree. The team has been not good. The managing has been worse. The bullpen misuse, mismanagement has been terrible. Devin Williams hasn't been what the Yankees traded for, and I'm not making any excuses for him. His manager hasn't put him in positions to succeed either.
No, he needs to be the long reliever mop-up man just to regain confidence at this point.
And I don't know if Aaron Boone was slow to the punch, if it was just a stroke of luck that he finally did just use him in the 6th inning or what. But that 6th inning he had versus Houston was nice. That is where he needs to be. Low leverage, come in, relieve the starter, throw some airbender, changeups, throw some gas, and keep the ball moving.
We both know, though, that he's going to be an all-star closer for some American League competitor next year.
Sure. But for this year, let's get what we can out of the guy and get him in the middle. You know, at the end of the day, Aaron Judge coming back, likely to play the field by the next time we record. The lineup's getting right. The lineup, fingers crossed. But we get Judge back in the outfield, and the lineup will be healthy and at its best for the first time all season. We did talk about where this team is at in terms of World Series contenders. They're not in my tier 1 group. They're not the first team I would pick out of the AL.
Who is in your tier 1 group?
For the whole MLB or just the AL?
Just the AL.
Just the AL, I would have Houston sitting alone as my tier 1 team. And I think that everybody else is kind of tier 2. For the MLB as a whole.
He's in the same tier as like the Red Sox.
I would put the whole AL East in that tier, and then the same with the Mariners and Tigers. I just think that Houston healthy, especially as well, it's hard to bet against them. But everybody else, I think, has a puncher's chance. And the Yankees punch with their lineup, you could argue, at its best, is the hardest hitting of any of those teams in tier 2. At the end of the day, Aaron Judge is the best player in the AL, and if he can get back to right with what Cody Bellinger has done this year, Giancarlo Stanton, Jazz Chisholm, Ben Rice, like even as bad as Volpe's been, you are 1 through 9 a home run threat at every at bat. And when you have that kind of pop, that kind of power, the starting pitching has been better, and the bullpen has the arms to work out. You could have a World Series team. Do I think it will be? No. But is it a 0% shot? No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I didn't think we were either last year. I didn't think we were a World Series team.
I did.
They proved me wrong, at least. And I feel weirdly better about the team right now than I did during their worst parts last year, and especially during their worst run in 2022, where they fell apart in the worst I've ever seen. And I think that's also because if you look at their roster, what would you really change going into next year?
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think bringing Garrett Cole back healthy is obviously just kind of a huge thing for this team, because then everybody kind of fits in a better spot, in my opinion. Cole, Fried, Rodon, Luis Heel, Will Warren, Cam Schlittler. You have 6 guys there that you feel like, hey, those guys could pitch on any day, and it doesn't mean a big loss. The one thing I want to point out for the Yankees is kind of their schedule the rest of the way. It's not very tough. They have this Minnesota series at St. Louis, at Tampa Bay, Boston, a 4-game set. Obviously, that'll be good. But then it's Washington, White Sox, and then you go through a tough stretch of Houston, Toronto, Detroit, Boston. But then they close out the year with Minnesota, 4-game set Baltimore, White Sox, 3-game set Baltimore. At the end of the year there, the Yankees could go in to playoff baseball very hot based on those teams that they're facing. It's a little ways away, but in terms of predicting outlook, the Yankees are wild card 3 right now. But this is why I'm not concerned about where they are in the standings currently.
I would be shocked if they missed the playoffs still, I think, just with how light the end of the year is. And I think that's probably the best, case for them is, they sucked up until this point. They struggled. They have a soft landing to really get themselves rolling, get themselves hot. And then they can take on some of those better teams in October. The Boston series next week is going to be really telling.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the biggest litmus test.
I mean, I don't know if we get there. A Boston-New York playoff series would be electric.
Especially since, I think we were both
pretty so equal
coming into the season.
They're so equal, the two teams right now, in terms of what they could be at their highs. Crochet versus Fried, battle of 2 great pitchers. The lineups both have a ton of pop. I think it would be a really, really fun playoff series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Boston, New York is always great. Let's go to our studs and duds, because I kind of want to talk about Milwaukee and their outfielder, Isaac Collins. 5 games, 19 at-bats, 9 hits, 5 RBIs, 1 home run. He's hitting .470 with a 1.387 OPS. Milwaukee's in a 10-game winning streak right now, and this has been a major part of it. My dud, though, Pirates starter Mike Burrows, 0-1 in his 2 games started. 9 2/3 of an inning, 8 hits, 10 earned runs, good for a 9.31 ERA. He's given up 4 home runs, 9 strikeouts, 4 walks, and hitters are hitting .222 against him, but those 10 earned runs are huge.
Yeah, for sure. My stud, I went with Jose Altuve. Could have gone with him or Correa, if we're being completely honest. Altuve over the last week is batting .459 for his last 20. He's got 6 runs, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs in that stretch. Only struck out 4 times and has a stolen base as well. Unfortunately, the Astros are getting hot again, and that's why, like we just talked about, I have them as a Tier 1 World Series contender. And then my dud, Francisco Lindor of the New York Mets. In his last 19 at-bats, does anybody want to guess how many hits he has?
0?
A big 0. Yep, he's got 7 strikeouts in that span as well, so not even making a ton of contact with the ball. It's been a bad stretch for the Mets, and it's been a bad stretch for Lindor.
I'm having deja vu because on July 21st, my dud was Francisco Lindor. And you know how many hits he had in that week?
0.
So, a little deja vu.
Is Lindor actually good? Or is he?
You know, I heard somebody once say that Pete Alonso is the heart and soul of the Mets and should be the captain.
I wonder what genius said that.
My stud, I think we talked about the Athletics a lot, in this podcast, so I'm gonna keep it up. My stud is Shea Langoliers, catcher for the Athletics, 10 for 28, 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, batting .370. I mean, that's a great week, especially for a catcher. Like, that is fantastic offense production for a catcher. So, Athletics are looking up. I mean, I think they're gonna have a good team. I think in a couple of years, a lot of good young players coming up.
Once they get to Vegas with Justin Verlander opening up the season, there will be good players behind him.
Sky's the limit once they get to Vegas. Now, my dud, another, I guess, one of Corey's favorite teams that he likes to talk about, that I was talking about, White Sox left fielder Andrew Benintendi, 3 for 28. 3 for 28, 6 strikeouts, batting .107.
28 at bats in the last week that feels high.
That's a lot. I mean, it's a lot, and he only
to do nothing with them.
Yeah, let me yeah.
Does that mean he's just not getting walks either?
He had 1 walk.
Yeah,
6 strikeouts. And he had, I guess, I don't know if this was like recently. I don't know if this is like from a game tonight or whatever. I guess he had 1 RBI.
Yeah, for reference, over the last 7 days, the most at-bats was C.J. Abrams at 32. So, Benintendi's up there.
Yeah, and he's not doing anything at all. Like, just 3 hits, 1 RBI, and walked once.
Yeah, once it's August and you're on the White Sox, the season's wrapping up.
Yeah.
You're making your plans for October, November.
Yeah.
Especially Benintendi, who's locked in for
which beach will I be watching the World Series on?
You think he tells people that he plays for the White Sox, or is that
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I would imagine he lives in Chicago. It's a good city. It's a city.
It's a city.
It's, I know where our friend Ryan wants to move to Chicago.
Have you guys seen the TikTok debate of the 4 major U.S. cities? Chicago, I feel like, is pretty firmly in there.
Oh yeah, New York, Chicago, and LA are the 3.
Yeah. Well, this is where the videos always get fun.
I think it just depends on the time of year and who you're talking to.
So, I've gone back and forth on 2 answers. DC, nation's capital.
Right.
But what I want the true answer to be.
Can I give my opinion before you say it? Because I feel like you're going to agree with me.
Sure.
I think it should be Philly.
It's not.
It should be. Philly or Dallas, I think, are the 2.
Nope. Neither in my Nope. My answer is Las Vegas.
Okay.
Massive tourist attraction, and once you're 40, everybody has a Vegas story.
Have you guys been to Vegas yet?
I have,
not.
and
I
I
have
have
not.
many, and I have none of us are 40. You guys have time. Once the A's get there, there'll be plenty of reason to go.
I will be there to watch Verlander open up their Las Vegas tenure.
But seriously, once there's a team there and the Yankees have an away series there, would you not consider just kind of building a Vegas trip for that time
I'm
of
trying
year?
to go to watch the Giants play, and nobody wants to see the Giants play.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said the Yankees.
But the Vegas isn't a bad option. I just think that tourism has fallen off based on what I've been seeing in Vegas recently. Philly is a huge part of America's development.
I wouldn't want to go to Philly though.
No, but it doesn't make it. I mean, I want to go to Chicago as much as I want to go to Philly. I've been to both.
I've never been to Chicago.
You're not missing much.
I've been to Philly. That's about it.
I lived in Philly.
I've been to Denver too. Denver's really nice though.
Denver, one of the
Denver.
new major cities.
Denver's nice.
Seattle,
Seattle.
San
It's
Diego.
always raining. San Diego, I heard that's pretty nice.
But let's get some moment of the weeks going, because we're talking about Verlander opening it up for the A's in Vegas. But will he be getting his 4,000th career strikeout in Vegas? He got career strikeout number 3,500, versus Washington on Sunday. That's going to be my moment of the week. Got Nate Lowe for his 3,500th one. Struck out the side in the first inning. He was 3 away, got all 3. Just another, feather in a Hall of Fame all-time great cap. And, when he gets 4,000 in Vegas, we'll be able to remember where he got 3,500.
Yeah. Can't wait to see Verlander there. My moment of the week is the Toronto Blue Jays dropping a 20-burger on the Colorado Rockies. It happens multiple times a year to Colorado, but every time it happens, it will be my moment of the week because that is objectively hilarious. 20-1 was the final score, by the way. So the ball wasn't just flying out for both teams.
That's crazy. Those are like video game. That's a video game score. But my moment of the week is I kind of got a dual moment of the week going on here. It's going to be the Brewers sweeping the Mets and the Phillies simultaneously sweeping the Rangers there to go up, I think 5.5 games. So I mean, I'd love to see it. Love to see it. I wish Ben was here. So just to hear him what he has to say about it. But I mean, love to see it.
Ben and those Mets need to defend himself against John's propaganda against him.
It's tough.
Just wait, Mets are even in for it now because like Profar's back playing for the Braves. So it's
we all know how much Ben loves Profar though. So
I think Ben said Profar for MVP in our preseason predictions, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not mistaken. Ben wants Profar to be like one of the greatest players.
I think maybe Alonso leaves the Mets and Profar comes in. That's Ben's dream team.
Honestly, if Ben's not here to defend it, I think he's really just accepting it at this point.
Yeah, if he had something to say, he'd join right now.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, and we're going to make this law. Profar to the Mets. Start the campaign. Let's talk about some series, though. Do you guys have any big series you want to talk about? I know I want to talk about the Brewers at the Cubs, little NL Central action. I think this is going to be a big battle. The Brewers coming off of a big win streak. The Cubs, PCA, faltering since the All-Star break. Can the Cubs claw their way back and overtake the Brewers? Do the Brewers widen this gap?
I mean, does a sweep end it right there?
I wouldn't say ends it, but it all but does.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be a fun series. Somebody had to pick the obvious one of our group, and it was me. Dodgers. Dodgers. Yeah, that's if you made it 1 hour 5 minutes in, I'm hoping you got the chuckle at Dodgers. the Padres and the Dodgers will be a fantastic series, similar to the way that I talked about Yankees Red Sox. I hope we see it in the playoffs. It is bananas, and I mean everybody will be rooting for the Padres, not the Dodgers, not the Dodgers.
My weekly highlight is possibly a potential World Series matchup here with Seattle playing in Philly there. So, I mean, because it's very likely Seattle is one of the AL teams that breaks through and gets to the World Series there, and Philly's very, very likely also. And you have I think the Seattle's only about half a game back from first place, so they gotta and if they're gonna come in first there, they have to win these games against these good teams, and the Phillies have to keep their lead against the Mets and stuff. They have to win these games and show that they can be like a World Series contending team and actually win games against good teams.
Absolutely right. Guys, that's going to do it for us, though. We'll be back next week, talk some more who's going to make the playoffs, who's not going to, be an actual contender. Are the Mets going to win another game since then? Will the Yankees win a series? We'll find out. That remains to be seen. But that's going to do it. Dylan, Mel, John Pauline, I'm Corey Jason. This has been the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast.